never mind. I'll show you yourself. I'll figure it out. Alright, so still working our half guard top position. Woohoo! It's a great position, right? It's one of our control positions. Remember, half guard is above his knee right here. When his knee is inside right here, it's not half guard just because we have his foot trapped. It's going to be a 3/4 guard of some sort, and that's still offense, and it's dangerous right here. So we want to make sure we're trapping above his knee right here, getting control of the chin, getting our underhook on the far side if we can, but we don't have to. Either pinching our leg to trap, pinching our knees to trap his leg, or bringing our knee up to our elbow, making sure on any case that we always maintain control of his chin, whether it's just grabbing his shoulder, whether it's grabbing his knee, whether it's grabbing our hands right here. We always want to maintain that good shoulder control. Now when we get right here, he's going to have only so many things he can do to try and escape when we have good control of him, right? Well, one of his most free things he's going to have here is going to be his far arm right here, right? But there's only so many places it can go because I put my body like this. It can attack above this arm, or it can attack below this arm, right? That's the only two places. There's no attacking on my arm. I guess you could grab it, right? You can grab my arm, like here, or grab the wrist or something. But then in this case, I have an anatomical advantage here, so it's not going to matter. So the first one we're going to do is when he's attacking above our arm right here. When he's above our arm, his arm could be two places. It could be in a slot on the right side of our head, or it could be on the slot on the left side of our head over here. And that same thing he did right here. This is in the, I guess the third place could be in the middle.
Right, in your throat.
Right? When it's in the middle, this is the first one we're going to do, right? When it's in the middle, this always signals me. As soon as somebody pushes right here, my hand's coming up, I'm just making a Y. I'm not only going to push his arm a little bit right here, I'm going to take my head, I'm going to lift it, go all the way around, and try and trap the arm right here as far, and get my ear as far down the tricep as I can. Right? I can start initially to trap it right here, and then I take this hand and I can push, because when I take my hand off, it's stuck, and get my neck, or right below my ear, my neck right here, which is what you're going to feel is making contact with his arm right here. I want to get it as low as I can onto his shoulder here, because we're going to move into our arm triangle right here. We're going to want to have our head in the correct position, right? Remember, arm triangle works by having our bicep on the one side pressing on his carotid artery, and our neck pressing on his shoulder through to his carotid artery on this side. Right? His carotid artery is right here. If you follow that line out, it's right here on the shoulder. So we need to make sure we get our head far, or our neck far enough down where it's going to make contact with a point that squeezes. If I'm just doing it right here, if you follow the line through, all I have to do is squeezing on his face, right? I don't want to do that. Even if it starts off by just controlling here, I need to make sure that I might move myself even lower. Right, now once I've got myself down to here, I'm always just going to hug, and I'm going to put my head to the ground. Right? When I put my head to the ground, he can move and kick and do whatever, but I'm not really part of him anymore. My weight's up on my head. He can try and lock my foot down if he wants, and even if he does, I'm just going to free up my foot, walk it, put my butt up in the air. When my head's on the ground right there, I can put my butt up in the air. Boom, moving myself to right here, and then across to the other side. When we go for our finish, there's a lot of different ways to finish the arm triangle, but you guys know me, I like to finish it with no arms. I think it's the tightest way to do it, right? I'm looking up so you can see my neck moved up, but when I go back down, I'm going to move my neck back down to that point. I'm going to take, this arm's in a position where my biceps on his neck, my neck's going to move down, or on his neck, my neck's going to move down, put pressure on his neck, right to here, hand to the ground. I'm going to take my head and I'm going to put it up and towards his, so I feel contact with his head right here, and then I'm just going to flatten out my body and make a bicep. When you get good at this, you won't even getting your head in the correct position. Like, we're moving all the way to a good finish, which is on the far side right there. However, you don't need to when you get good at it. So you'll get right here, gal push, you get yourself in the right position, you're moving yourself down. He's holding and trying to pull you down, trying to hold and pull you down, hold and pull you down. And this is so much tighter than having your hands clasped, because your hands aren't clasped. There's space right there and you can get closer. It's tighter from that position. So even if the guy's pulling down pretty hard, when you get confidence in this and really learn how to put your head down and towards them, you're not even going to need to clear those legs, right? However,
how does it look if you don't clear the legs?
What's that?
Just did it without the legs cleared.
Oh,
I just do it if you don't clear the legs.
okay.
Or if I'm trying to squeeze right there and he is able to push me down right there, I'm going to do what I did a second ago, which was putting my butt up in the air. Yeah. So we're trapping it, put myself around, trapping it, putting myself in the right position, putting my head all the way to the ground, putting my butt up in the air, using my other feet right here to help myself up, flattening out, and just making it. So I'm just moving myself up nice and tight, and then I'm just squeezing and making a bicep.
Grabbing the back of your shoulder, you're going to flat on the ground.
You can do either one, whichever one's more comfortable for you. A lot of times you'll feel more comfortable hugging him right here because it there's a little bit more control. But this is like any other choke. When you turn your hand over, you're going to find on this the bicep side that's on this carotid artery. When you turn your hand palm down right here, it's actually going to squeeze that gap a little bit. So once you get good at controlling the position with where your head is right there, you'll get the confidence to kind of let go of them and turn your head down and know that you're pinning them with your head. So yeah, grab a partner back and forth. Now, one of the things to remember is when we do this, that most people, if they're smart, they're going to be trying to button get their arm around our head when they find out that we've pinned that arm, right? For somebody to buck and bridge and do that, their legs are going to have to come apart from ours. So we're kind of expecting that reaction. And a lot of times when I'm going for this arm triangle, I'm not necessarily going for the submission. It would be great, but I'm waiting for that reaction of the strong wrestler who's not going to let me take more than that first step. And when he does, I'm going to move myself. So right here, he pushes, he feels me start going right here, and he knows, and he starts bridging. I'm going to take and move myself up. When I do this, I want to move my knee up towards his armpit as far as I can, and I don't want to necessarily keep my head pinned to the ground, because first of all, if my head's pinned to the ground right there, my knee can't come up as far as I want towards his armpit. I want to get it up far towards his armpit because it's away from his feet being able to grab it, right? The farther I go up when I'm doing this right here, the farther I am away from those knees grabbing. So right here, we start pinning, he tries to bridge me across, take my head off, I move my hand up like Superman right here, I bring my knee up right here. Now I'm going to bring both, push with my hand, keeping them wide, push all the way back across my feet. Right? And keep my chest pressed to his face one way or another right here. This is going to kill half of his moving back and forth, and it's only going to let him to do it one way, right? So I'm going to move myself to control right here before I sit up, before I move to any of the other positions I want to, right? I want to get used to moving to the position and snatching a tight control, let him wiggle, grab it, and then move on to my next thing. I don't want to flop to this and immediately replace. As I flop to this, he immediately bucks me over because I don't take my head off the ground, that sort of thing, right? So he has it here, pushing his head across, I'm going right here, he bucks hard, I take my head off the ground, I move my knee up to his armpit right here temporarily, I take my head off the ground, I push myself down, and I cross my feet, or you can go to a grapevine right here, but I prefer across my feet, it's just more easier on my hips, I think, and I think a little bit better position. No other explanation than that, that's fucking terrible. It's better because it's better. Alright. He's on here. Start going right here. Start up, and I'm going to move myself up, and then I'm going to move myself. Making sure my heels are scooping. Get them underneath, and then move myself to a nice low medium mount right here. Sit up and do our other stuff. Go partner back and forth. Moving to mount from that arm triangle. Go.
Tom, how are you going to do it?